London Bridge at 6:07 in the evening was a river of elbows, damp coats, and politeness stretched thin. Ticket barriers chirped, departure screens flickered with updates, and a tinny voice from the speakers repeated delay announcements like a prayer nobody really believed in. From a distance, the city still looked solid, even after the multiverse fracture. But up close, everything felt just a little out of sync, as if two different versions of London were trying to squeeze through the same rush hour. The stopper moved through this chaos like someone who had learned to measure life in seconds. A 10-second pause. That's how it first happened, on the night the fracture ripped across the capital. A whole station concourse had frozen solid mid-stride. A pram wheel had hovered inches above the floor. A dropped coin had hung suspended in the air, as if gravity had just taken a break. Then time had snapped back into place. Everyone wrote it off as a trick of the light, a mass blink, a glitch in the system. But the stopper hadn't forgotten. The stopper had practiced. This power didn't come with a flashy costume or prophetic visions. It arrived as a quiet, private tool for navigating a very public world. 10 seconds of perfect stillness, repeatable, reliable, and dangerously addictive. At first, the uses were small. A phone lifted from an open tote bag on a crowded platform. A wallet slipped from a coat pocket. A contactless card borrowed for a single tap at a machine that never looked up. Each theft was justified as a way to stay afloat: rent, food, travel. It felt safer than begging and cleaner than violence. The stopper quickly learned that the city records everything, except for the things it can't understand. CCTV didn't show frozen time. It just showed dropped frames, a sudden shift in exposure, a momentary stutter that technicians blamed on bad network connections. Witnesses didn't report a miracle. They just described a moment of confusion, a feeling that something had moved too fast for the eye to follow. The day a knife came out was the day the stopper stopped being careful. On platform 5, a teenager pressed close to a commuter in a sharp suit. A cheap blade flashed, half hidden by a sleeve. The commuter's mouth opened to shout, but the crowd noise just swallowed it. A nearby transport cop was turned the other way, arguing with someone over a ticket. 10 seconds could solve this, but 10 seconds could also make everything much, much worse. The stopper triggered the stillness. First, the sound vanished like someone had yanked a plug from a socket. The entire crowd locked into place, a gallery of statues. A train's headlight hung in the tunnel, unnaturally bright and steady. The teenager's hand was still outstretched, the knife's point frozen in midair, while the commuter was locked in a half-flinch. The stopper stepped into the silent tableau. The blade wasn't heavy, just real. It was pulled away and slid under a bench, out of sight. A good deed, quick and clean. But then, the stopper noticed another detail. The teenager's free hand was already inside the commuter's coat, fingers pinching a wallet. Suddenly, those 10 seconds looked less like a rescue and more like an opportunity. Greed didn't arrive with a dramatic flourish. It arrived as a quiet, simple thought. The commuter wouldn't notice a second loss while still processing the first threat. The stopper took the wallet. Time restarted with a violent snap. The noise rushed back in train brakes, shouting, the scuff of 100 shoes. The commuter jerked back, expecting to feel steel, but finding only empty air. The teenager's eyes went wide with panic, seeing the empty space where the knife should have been. The kid shoved the commuter and tried to run, completely baffled. That shove landed badly. The commuter stumbled toward the platform edge, arms windmilling for balance. A stranger reached out to help, but the crowd surged forward, and the single moment turned into a chain reaction of collisions. The commuter fell onto the tracks. People screamed. The train driver slammed the emergency brake, But physics doesn't care about emergencies. The front of the train screamed against the rails, spitting sparks. The commuter survived, pulled back just in time, but with torn clothes and a shoulder that would never be the same. But someone else, a woman who had stepped forward to help, went down hard in the panic and didn't get back up. After that, procedure took over. The station went into lockdown. CCTV was pulled. Statements were taken. A bag search found nothing on the stopper, but receipts and a work lanyard. An officer's suspicion grew when the stopper couldn't explain why they were so close to the incident, yet seemed so uninvolved. The missing knife turned up under the bench, exactly where it shouldn't have been. The teenager swore it had never left his hand. The footage just showed a stutter 10 seconds of digital noise, then a new object suddenly appearing on the floor. A detective from a specialist Met unit arrived, carrying a tired face and an unfamiliar badge. This detective didn't talk to witnesses. They talked to station managers. They asked for raw data files, not copies, using phrases like anomalous interval and continuity gap as if they were standard police terms. A second person appeared behind the detective, a man with private sector posture and a visitor pass that read Cromwell Applied Systems. The stopper wasn't arrested that night. The stopper was invited to a room with a kettle that never boiled and a table designed to make you feel small. The detective didn't accuse. The Cromwell man didn't threaten. They both acted like this event had just confirmed something they already suspected. An offer was made, softly. Cooperation in exchange for protection. No charges. Help with understanding the interval. A paid consultancy role framed as civic duty. The unspoken truth hung in the air. The system didn't know how to imprison 10 seconds, so it would buy them instead. The stopper thought about the woman who didn't get up. The stopper also thought about the wallet, still warm in a pocket, proof that a line had already been crossed. A contract was signed. Later, London Bridge went back to its routine. Commuters stepped over fresh chalk marks and dried blood, complaining about the delays. Online, the incident was debated into nothingness. Some called it random violence. Some called it fate. Some said it was just another symptom of the fracture, like the Stratford vanishings. In a quiet office far from the platforms, a server stored a CCTV file with a 10-second hole in the middle. Anomalies became assets. The stopper became a line item. 10 seconds of quiet stopped being a secret. It became a service. What happens when your power is no longer your own? Find out in the next episode. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what is coming.